Most people live like pawns. They are pushed, commanded, and sacrificed. They believe honesty alone will protect them, that loyalty will save them, that merit will raise them. But the world does not reward innocence. It devours it. The question is simple. Do you want to be used, or do you want to rule? Today, I will reveal to you how Niccolo Machiavelli, if he lived among us now, would outsmart everyone. 21 rules of power, forged from centuries of human ambition, deception, and survival. Master these, and you will never again be at the mercy of others. Most people live their lives in a fog, unaware of the forces that move them like pieces on a chessboard. They believe they are in control, but their strings are being pulled by hands they cannot even see. Think about it. Every decision you make, what you buy, what you say, who you trust, is already influenced by someone who has learned to play the game better than you. The problem is not your lack of intelligence. The problem is that you are playing with rules designed to keep you obedient, while others have already discarded them and written their own. From the moment you were young, you were told to be honest, to be kind, to be fair, to believe that good behavior would be rewarded. Teachers promised you that effort alone would guarantee success. Parents said loyalty would be returned in kind. Leaders told you that trust was the foundation of a good life. These promises are comforting, but they are illusions. Look around you. Do you see the honest man becoming the richest? Do you see the loyal servant rising above his master? Do you see the kind-hearted leader holding power without it being ripped from his hands? The truth is cruel. Society trains you to be predictable, to be naive, to be easy prey. Those in power, whether in politics, business, or your own circle, feed you these noble lies because they know that as long as you believe them, you are harmless. And while you obey, they maneuver, they calculate, they deceive, and they take everything you wish for before you even see it within reach. Imagine a crowded marketplace. One man sells fruit, another sells lies. The fruit seller works hard, hoping his sweat will earn him loyalty. The liar whispers carefully chosen words, and with them, he controls the crowd, who leaves richer at the end of the day. It is always the one who understood that power is not about effort, but about perception, control, and manipulation. This is the problem you face. Every day, without realizing it, you are measured by others, not for your intentions, but for your utility. People ask themselves silently, can you be used? Can you be exploited? Can you be replaced? And if the answer is yes, then you are nothing more than a pawn on someone else's board. You might think you are climbing, advancing, making progress. But if you are following the rules that others hand you, you are only moving where they allow. In politics, the naive citizen believes the campaign promises, thinking leaders care for them. The politician knows that words are weapons, not truths. In business, the worker believes that loyalty to the company will be rewarded. The owner knows loyalty is disposable the moment it costs more than it gives. In relationships, the hopeful partner gives endlessly, believing sacrifice will secure affection. The other calculates silently, weighing what can be taken and when to leave. Do you see the trap? The problem is not that you are weak. The problem is that you were taught to admire weakness disguised as virtue. They told you to be transparent, so they could read you easily. They told you to be trusting, so they could deceive you effortlessly. They told you to be patient, so they could get ahead while you waited your turn. And worst of all, they told you to be good so that you would never dare to be powerful. Look carefully at the world you live in now. Information spreads faster than armies. Lies travel further than truth. Images create leaders, not merit. Influence is currency, and manipulation is art. Yet most of you walk into this arena unarmed, holding the shield of honesty while others carry blades of cunning. You think you are safe because you play fair, but fairness only protects you in children's games. Out here in the realm of power, fairness is the chain around your neck. The problem is simple but devastating. You are fighting with illusions while others fight with strategy. You are clinging to the rules that comfort you while others bend them, twist them, and break them to their advantage. You are convinced that good intentions will protect you, when in reality, intentions mean nothing. Only results matter. And so, while you sleep soundly, believing the world rewards your goodness, someone else is awake, plotting, positioning, preparing to use you as their stepping stone. This is the problem that cripples you and empowers them. If the problem is that most people live like pawns, the promise is this: there exists a way to rise above them, a way to seize the strings instead of being bound by them. And that path is not built on hope, not on faith, not on noble dreams. It is built on clear-eyed strategy, on the ruthless wisdom of power that has guided rulers, generals, and conquerors for centuries. This is what I promise you now. If you dare to learn what others fear to even whisper, you will no longer stumble through life as prey. You will learn to become the hunter. Machiavelli's wisdom is not a dusty relic of the Renaissance, locked in libraries or hidden in old courts. It breathes in every negotiation, every boardroom, every speech that manipulates a crowd, every relationship where one dominates while the other submits. What he wrote centuries ago was not advice for kings alone. It was a mirror to human nature, a cold reflection of what people truly are when the mask of morality is stripped away. And human nature has not changed. The faces are modern, the tools are digital, but the game is the same. This is the promise. Once you understand these principles, you will see the world differently. You will see through the lies people tell you. You will hear not the words that leave their mouths, but the motives hiding behind them. You will look at every interaction, at work, in politics, in your personal life, and recognize instantly who is trying to control you and how. And then you will know how to turn their very strategy against them. Most people wander blind, but those who carry Machiavelli's wisdom see the battlefield clearly. While others believe power belongs only to the rich, the connected, the chosen few, you will know that power is seized, not given. While others waste their lives trying to be loved, you will understand that respect and fear build stronger foundations. While others spend years climbing ladders, you will know how to remove the ladder altogether and command from above. Think about what this means for you. In your career, it means you stop waiting for recognition and start controlling perception. You no longer allow bosses or colleagues to dictate your worth. You dictate theirs. You turn alliances into weapons and rivals into stepping stones. In politics, it means you no longer sit as a passive observer of headlines and slogans. You see how leaders mold the masses, and you know how to shield yourself from their influence while shaping the influence of your own circle. In your personal life, it means no longer giving endlessly while receiving nothing in return. You learn how to set the terms of respect, how to command admiration, how to control the balance of power in any relationship. The promise is clarity. Where there was confusion, there will be understanding. Where there was weakness, there will be strength. You will not waste time playing by rules that were designed to enslave you. Instead, you will learn to write your own rules, rules that bend others to your will. That is the essence of power, not waiting for life to hand you what you deserve, but taking what you want by shaping the very game itself. Imagine walking into a room and knowing instantly who holds power and how you could take it. Imagine hearing a lie and smiling because you see not only the deception, but the desperation behind it. Imagine carrying yourself in such a way that others cannot ignore you, cannot control you, cannot reduce you. That is the transformation Machiavelli offers. It is not the naive promise of an easy path, not the foolish dream that the world will suddenly reward your goodness. No, it is the dangerous promise that if you are willing to shed illusions, you can rise above the masses who live trapped in them. But make no mistake, this promise is not for the timid. It is not for those who cling to comfort or morality like a drowning man clings to driftwood. It is for those who dare to see the world as it truly is and who dare to act upon that vision. Machiavelli's lessons are not about kindness, but about survival. They are not about fairness, but about victory. They are not about hope, but about control. If you accept this promise, you will learn the same dark art that emperors and rulers have mastered for centuries. You will no longer live by the will of others. You will no longer play the role of the obedient pawn, You will know how to shape the game, how to twist perception, how to bend fear and admiration into weapons that secure your position. And the best part is this: while others fight desperately just to survive, you will stand above them, orchestrating every move, every outcome, every defeat they never saw coming. To know the problem is not enough. To recognize the promise is not enough. Knowledge without application is weakness, and weakness is the death of power. The question is this: how do you take the ruthless truths of Machiavelli and bend them to your advantage in today's world? The answer lies in method. Not vague ideas, not empty principles, but a system. A way of thinking, speaking, and acting that transforms you from a pawn into a player. Machiavelli himself was not offering morality, but a manual. He was a physician of power, dissecting the human condition with precision and prescribing strategies to cure the disease of weakness. His method was clear then, and it is clearer now, because the tools of power are everywhere, in your pocket, on your screens, woven into every word you speak. The method begins with perception, because perception creates reality. He who controls appearances controls outcomes. In a world where images and narratives travel faster than truth, you must first learn to master the art of appearing. Appear strong when you are weak. Appear humble when you are plotting. Appear generous when you are calculating. Men do not follow truth. They follow what they believe to be true. Control belief and you control them. The next element of the method is information. In Machiavelli's time, information was carried by whispers in courts. Today, it flows through networks, feeds, headlines, and rumors. But the principle remains unchanged. He who knows more than others commands the board. Gather information relentlessly about allies, enemies, rivals, and even yourself, but reveal little, speak less than you know, share less than you discover. Let others exhaust themselves by showing their hands, while you play from the shadows with perfect knowledge. The method also demands control of fear and favor. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both, because fear lasts where love fades. In today's world, fear does not always mean terror. It means respect, caution, the awareness that you are not to be underestimated. You do not need to scream, you do not need to strike first. You only need to establish the aura that crossing you has consequences. But fear without relief breeds rebellion, and so you must weave it with moments of mercy, rewards, and gestures of generosity that bind loyalty tighter than chains. You do not want subjects trembling at all times. You want them dependent, uncertain, always returning to you for safety after you have reminded them of your strength. The method is strategy in choosing battles. Most waste their energy fighting where the enemy is strong, where the terrain favors another, where victory costs more than defeat. Machiavelli's method teaches you to fight only when the field is yours. Create conditions before you strike. Set traps, spread rumors, weaken your rivals silently until they collapse under the weight of their own mistakes. Then you step forward, not as the aggressor, but as the inevitable victor who was always destined to lead. In business, this means never competing on raw effort alone. You shift perception, so customers believe you offer more even when your rival works harder. You gather information, so you strike at the precise weakness of your competitor. You inspire respect, so your presence commands value before you even speak. In politics, it means crafting the story before the story is told, shaping what people believe so that no matter what your rival says, the crowd already sides with you. In your personal life, it means setting boundaries that others dare not cross, while offering affection and loyalty in calculated doses that secure devotion without surrendering control. Another layer of the method is deception. Do not misunderstand. Deception is not endless lying, for lies can be uncovered. True deception is the art of creating illusions so convincing that men deceive themselves. You lead them to believe what they want to believe. You let them think you are weak until it benefits you to reveal strength. You allow them to assume you are generous until the day comes when your demand feels like a gift. You do not fight the beliefs of others. You bend them, guide them, and weaponize them until they serve your ends. Finally, the method is patience. Power is rarely seized in one stroke. It is cultivated, step by step, seed by seed, until the harvest is undeniable. The impatient man exposes himself, lunges too early, reveals his intentions before his position is secured. The patient man waits, smiling as others rush into traps of their own making. Patience is not idleness. It is the silence of a predator watching, waiting for the perfect moment when one strike guarantees victory. The method is not chaos, it is not chance, it is not luck. It is deliberate, structured, tested by centuries of ambition and survival. It is the system by which men rise while others fall, by which rulers hold power while fools lose it, by which those who dare to see clearly take control while others drown in their illusions. Every method must serve an end. To understand the problem and to embrace the promise is not enough, unless you know the destination you are marching toward. Power is not a vague dream, it is not a symbol. It is not something you frame in words and never seize with your hands. Power is a living thing. It must be claimed, shaped, and held. The goal is not merely to survive in this ruthless world, but to dominate it, to stand above the crowd and know that their movements, their choices, their beliefs bend subtly to the will you have forged. The goal is mastery of yourself first, and of others second. For no man commands an army if he cannot command his own impulses. You must rid yourself of the childish illusions that keep the masses blind. You must unlearn the lies they taught you, lies about fairness, lies about destiny, lies about virtue as the sole path to success. When you no longer cling to these illusions, you gain clarity. Clarity gives you direction. Direction gives you authority. Authority over yourself is the root from which power grows outward. Once you have mastered yourself, the goal expands, to influence others not by begging or pleading, but by making them move as if by instinct. Imagine walking into a room and watching how people shift unconsciously, aligning themselves with your presence. Imagine never having to shout to be heard, because silence itself becomes your command. That is the goal, to shape the invisible currents of respect, fear, admiration, and dependence until they form a tide that carries you forward without resistance. The goal is not to be liked, for liking is fleeting. It is not to be loved, for love turns to resentment in an instant when it feels betrayed. The goal is to be necessary, to make yourself a figure people cannot ignore, cannot replace, cannot live without. A man who is loved may be discarded when love dies, but a man who is necessary remains, even in the hearts of those who envy him. That is the highest position to be indispensable. When people need you more than you need them, their loyalty becomes automatic, their betrayal becomes unthinkable. But do not mistake necessity for servitude. To be necessary is not to serve endlessly, but to create dependency. The powerful ruler does not give his subjects everything they desire. He gives them enough to ensure they cannot imagine life without him. The powerful leader does not solve every problem, but he provides the key solution without which the rest of the machine breaks. The goal is to stand at the center of the web, where every thread runs through your fingers. To remove you would collapse the structure, and so the structure protects you. The goal is also continuity. Power without permanence is illusion. Anyone can stumble into victory for a day. Anyone can grasp a throne for a season. But lasting power demands strategy that extends beyond moments, beyond chances, beyond fortune. The true goal is to hold power long after rivals believe they can snatch it, to keep influence flowing even when enemies gather in shadows, to secure a legacy that outlives your own presence. It is not enough to rise, you must remain, and remaining requires foresight, patience, and the unyielding will to act when others hesitate. The goal is also freedom, not the hollow freedom preached to the masses, where one believes they are free because they may choose from a list of options given to them. No, the true freedom of power is the ability to set the list itself, to determine what choices others even perceive as possible. That is freedom, to no longer be bound by the rules written for others, but to write them yourself, to exist outside of their cages while they thank you for decorating the bars. In every sphere of life, the goal manifests differently, but the essence remains the same. In politics, it is to stand above parties and factions, manipulating both while belonging to neither. In business, it is to control the flow of money and perception, so that competitors fight for scraps while you quietly shape the market. In relationships, it is to create devotion and respect so deep that others cannot imagine their world without you in it. In personal mastery, it is to stand so firmly in your own power that no insult, no betrayal, no setback can shake the throne within you. The goal is not comfort. Comfort is a poison that lulls men into mediocrity. The goal is not equality, because equality is a chain that binds lions to lambs. The goal is not happiness, because happiness is fleeting, fragile, and bought cheaply by those who would manipulate you with pleasures. The goal is control over your life, your image, your influence, and ultimately the very world that surrounds you. The goal is to reach a position where you are no longer reacting to the moves of others, but where they are constantly reacting to you. To live not as a player who waits for the dice to roll, but as the hand that designs the board itself. To bend the game so completely that what others call luck, you call preparation, and what they call chance, you call inevitability. You have now seen what most men never dare to face. You have seen the problem, that the world is a cage of illusions, designed to keep you obedient while others feast on your weakness. You have heard the promise, that by stripping away these illusions, you can rise above the crowd and command what they cannot. You have studied the method, the precise strategies that transform knowledge into power, silence into influence, patience into victory. And you have understood the goal, the position of mastery where your presence bends the world around you, where necessity shields you, where freedom is no longer a word but a reality you write for yourself. But understand this, knowing is not enough. The masses also know dimly that the world is cruel. They feel it when they are betrayed, when they are overlooked, when their efforts amount to nothing. They know, but they refuse to act. They cling to comfort, to morality, to illusions of fairness. And so they remain pawns, forever at the mercy of those who dare to play the game without apology. You must decide whether you will be like them, or whether you will step into the arena armed with the rules of power that others pretend do not exist. The world belongs not to those who hope, but to those who calculate. Not to those who wait, but to those who strike. Not to those who are good, but to those who are effective. This is not a game of kindness. It is a game of survival, of influence, of control. And the one who dares to see clearly, the one who dares to act without hesitation, the one who dares to embrace power as it truly is, that is the one who will rule, while others kneel and wonder why fortune never smiled upon them.